Hey, Professor Hebler. This is Abby Tompkins doing my IMP midterm. Here we go. So the first question was the process of pre-production. So pre-production is basically planning the thing that you're about to shoot. So some aspects of that are making your project proposal. So basically that's just a summary that you use to talk about your project, to sell it maybe to funders and people who are interested in working on the project that you're doing. It answers the question, what is it? And then there's also the premise, which basically sums up the project you're doing, but answers the why of why you're doing it. A synopsis is like a short paragraph that you write to broadly describe the plot of your project. And then these things are important so that you have a fully realized idea before you start shooting anything, so that you can also get funding if you need it. You can explain all this through making a treatment, which can explain the budget for the project, the schedule for making the project, all that good stuff. So this is necessary. Pre-production is needed because it's good to prepare for the process of production, because it can get really hectic when if you're doing a video project, you have to remember what scenes you need to shoot, you have to remember what sounds you have to record. So if you have all this planned out in your pre-production, the process goes along very easily. You're as prepared as possible, and also when you have this stuff figured out, you can pitch your idea to investors so that you can get a better funding, I suppose. So pre-production relates to other stages of production because basically it just plans the rest of them. So it's necessary for production and post-production. Things like the schedule are important so that you know where you're shooting, when you're going to shoot it, doing that for the production itself. Otherwise, you're going to have people all over the place and not sure what they're doing. So planning that's important. And again, you can get funding if you have a strong enough plan and outline and all that good stuff. So the production process is basically when you make your project. So in a lot of projects that we do in media, it is your video and your audio components of the project. So when you're shooting your video, you have a lot of different shots that you can use. So you could do a long shot, which is an establishing shot, really wide, kind of like a landscape. You can do a medium shot, which would be show the person in the screen and do maybe up to their torso or something. A close-up, which would be their face is like this and on the screen, but then an extreme close-up would be real. It's hard with the screen opposite, but at any rate, it would be really close up on their face. And then the audio components, you have to make sure that you are miking everything correctly so that you get a small room-to-noise ratio. You can mic distant, ambient, spot, and so distant would be a few feet away, ambient would be pretty far away, so you get a lot of room noise, and spot is really up close so that you get a super strong signal. And then post-production is basically where you take everything that you made during production and digest it into the final product. So with video and audio, you have to edit them individually, but then put them together and make sure that they match. Make sure that the synchronization between the two is correct, especially if you did Foley work. And Foley is when you create sounds in a studio to represent real sounds that would have been depicted in the video or in real life if it had happened that way. So you need to make sure those two match up. Yeah, make sure there's no variance between the two, and I think that was about everything. So thanks, and I hope you're having a good spring break.